So what is the best type of lead magnet for attracting high-ticket coaching clients? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. My name is Jason Nyback. I invest about $1 million a year in Facebook ads to attract high-ticket coaching clients, and we teach all of our learnings to our clients and what we find and our best practices for running ads at obviously a high level. So today I want to talk about the best type of lead magnet we've found for attracting high-ticket coaching clients, specifically from paid ads. Not like launches or anything like that, specifically paid ads. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it, we really need to talk about, well, what are the main other options? What are the other ways that you can get coaching clients in terms of lead magnets? So let's talk about that. Now, before we get into it, if you're just getting referrals and word of mouth and all that kind of stuff, well, obviously you really don't need a quote lead magnet or a funnel, right? It's basically they message you on Facebook. They're like, hey, I've been following you for 16 years. Let's book a call, see if it works out. Or, hey, I saw you at that conference. I saw you speak. You're on that podcast. That's all like organic, okay? That's pretty easy to do if you just build up a following over time. The problem is it's not scalable. It's really hard to scale it. Like if you want to triple your referrals, you can't. It's like next month type thing, right? But if you want to triple the amount of leads it got coming from like Facebook ads, well, you just triple the ad spend. And if you're making more than you're spending, well, assuming that should go with it, right? So that's why it's so important to focus on that paid traffic to scale your coaching business. So let's talk about it. Basically, the three types of lead magnets that people use are, number one, straight up a call. Okay, you can see this on Facebook a lot, where people will just write an ad. And on that ad, they will basically say, hey, I teach mindset work, and I'm going to teach you my NLP secrets, and book a call, right? You click the link, and you literally go to a form to book a call and get on a calendar. I don't like those. We don't recommend them. I don't think they work that well, especially at scale, because, again, there's no relationship being built. You got to remember, this person who clicked the ad doesn't know anything about you, doesn't have any frame of reference about anything. They just clicked an ad. And so they're usually just more interested than committed. They're not serious. And again, they're not going to show up to the call because there's no relationship built. It's really hard to do that, but people try it. Okay, I wouldn't. The second one is a low value lead magnet. Okay, these are very popular. What's a low value lead magnet? Well, that's something like taking people to an ebook, okay, or a free download, a free video or something like that, where they take our video sales letter, where it's like, a 20-page downloadable PDF. It's some sort of 10-minute video type thing that people can just watch, that kind of stuff. Low value, nothing really much to offer, and short. What's the problem with that? Here's the problem we've seen with that, and we've seen a lot of clients come in who have used it and it hasn't worked. Number one is low value. Number two, it has a very low consumption rate. And that's the most important thing here, because you got to remember, these people don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know anything about you. They're like, why am I reading this? Who is this person again? I don't even know if I want to be here. So it's very, there's got to be a high consumption rate. Okay, so the thing of it is when somebody downloads your PDF or ebook or something like that, might be lucky if 5 to 10% of them actually go to the email and open it and actually read it and then click through and book a call or something to that effect, or on your follow-up emails. Incredibly low. Same with a video. The video play rates can be 20, 30%, and then people just don't watch them all, and then they're like, oh, I'll just book a call, or they leave, right? So remember, the consumption rate of your content is everything when it comes to paid traffic, because your ideal client needs to get to know you, and it needs to be done in a structured way. All right, what's the third option? Taking them to straight up a course, right? And you might have tried this, and people will do this all the time. They'll say like, well, the best people who buy coaching are people who have bought other products, and so they'll sell them a course. Here's the problem with that. You have to optimize a course funnel, okay? And if you're selling something for $200, $300, $400, $500 to cold traffic for your NLP coaching, whatever it is, your life coaching thing, whatever it is, right? That takes a lot of work to sell a lot of those. And so you've got to sell a lot of those, because inevitably you're only probably going to get 10 to 30% of the course buyers to even book a call. So your volume of course sales has to be big to get a small volume of sales of people booking calls. That makes sense, right? So it's like you're not going to get a lot of people because you got to get so many people through this course. And a lot of people just get stuck in the course and they're like, I don't want this. And they just go away. So it's very hard to do in that sense. And that's why we don't do that. So what do? Well, here's what we do. We do an automated webinar from an ad. Now let me explain why and how. Not a live webinar. Why not a live webinar? Because if you do live webinars on paid traffic, think about the logistics. It's kind of a nightmare, right? First of all, let's say it's a Wednesday when you do your webinar. Okay, so you're gonna run your ads, and then you're gonna be booking people onto a webinar that doesn't start for a week. So your show up rate's gonna be a disaster. Maybe 20%, 30% at best. That's a lot of waste. And then you constantly gotta be doing these live webinars. So what I do and what what we do is we take people to an automated webinar that starts every 15 minutes. Now, over the last 20 some odd thousand subscribers, we've averaged a 71% show up rate. That's way higher than you're going to get off and let's call that a consumption rate. People who have consumed the content. That's probably double of what we see from video sales letters, of what we see from ebooks, all that kind of stuff. It's way higher quality, and you get a more committed person who registers, because somebody who registers for an ebook, all that kind of stuff, it's a pretty small commitment. A webinar means they're somewhat serious. So just by default, it brings a higher quality person. Now, the other thing about it is they don't get a chance to book a call until the end. See, here's the problem with lead magnets that are low value. The big thing is like I've said again, the consumption rate, right? And so what happens in a lot of ebooks, a lot of videos that people give, is there is an option to book a call with them all the time. It's always there. So somebody can watch 4 minutes of a video and book a call. That's not enough time. It's not enough consumption rate. Or they can go scroll to the end of the ebook or the PDF report or whatever, book a call. Again, that's not enough time, right? Because you're really not able to build that relationship and increase that relationship currency on that short of a video. And so what happens? What's the result? We're going to get lots of calls booked, but they're not going to show up. And the ones who do, most likely we found, are not qualified. Okay? In fact, they're so bad that it's just almost a waste. It's like you're reteaching them everything you already taught them. So that's the biggest thing there. Now, the other thing you got to remember is what I've experienced is the longer the webinar, the more qualified the person is. Okay. Now, we've all seen on YouTube and all this kind of stuff, these shorts and these short videos that YouTube's trying to do, that popularize, and on Facebook and TikTok, it's short. And a lot of coaches, what they're doing is they're believing that that's the way to engage people for high ticket calls, is short content, right? And they're almost apologizing for these short, like 2-minute videos, 5-minute videos, all that kind of stuff, saying, hey, you know what, I know you're busy, I know you have no time, so I'll be quick. And we're finding that as time goes, it doesn't work that way, that the longer, the better. In a lot of cases, we're seeing that the longer the webinars, the better quality level of person who's coming off the end of those webinars, who's more interested in showing up, more interested in talking, and all those other things. So those are the things we're finding on lead magnets, because you got to remember the one secret, all right? And this is where most coaches get it wrong. It's not about cheap leads, okay? Almost every coach that I see that we work with starts out thinking their goal is to get the cheapest email address, right? The cheapest webinar, the cheapest lead registration. So an email address, somebody signing up for something. Cheap. Got to get it as low as possible, right? And then the cheapest call booking, okay? We got to get these call booking costs down. Well, rarely, if ever, that I've seen, does cheaper leads and cheaper call bookings equal more qualified coaching clients, all right? And so what a lot of people are doing is they're watering down their funnel to make it less of a commitment to register, less of a commitment to book a call, and therefore, guess what they're getting? Lower committed people, okay? It's not the people's fault. They're good people. but they're just not at a high enough relationship level where they're just like, who are you? Sorry, what did I don't even know. I booked a call with you. Really? Why are you calling me? I don't even know who you are. Oh, well, you watched like 1.5 minutes of a video 4 days ago on Facebook that I created. Like, I did? I didn't even know I watched anything this morning. You know what I'm saying? And so then they blame it on their market. My market's broke. Nobody likes my stuff. When the whole time, it's the focus on vanity metrics, which is cheap leads, cheap, and then they expect to get high-ticket clients. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. But that's what a lot of the industry's been taught. You see screenshots. Nobody posts their screenshot and be like, look at how much I paid for this call. Can you believe how expensive it is? Like, who does that, right? So anyhow, you've got to remember, what is your number one metric you're looking for? Return on ad spend. Okay, and so basically, how much did you pay for a qualified call, and what's your revenue per client per call? What's your in terms of what's your revenue for income per client, cost per call, and increase that spread. That's simple as that, and it's not always done. Rarely, in my experience, through cheap, and cheaper. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and that's what we do, and we've been doing it for many years, and looks like we'll be doing it for years to come. All right, see you in the next video. Make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button.